Everybody, and welcome to a Lefty Knitter podcast, episode 252. It is Monday, and it's the 18th of November. I'm going to show you progress on my HexiaGranny. I know that's not what it's called. The Toni Lipsey pattern has a different name, and it doesn't stick in my brain. So I'm going to show you, though, what I'm working on and how far I've gotten. Because in the last clip, I'll show you where I was. Also, so I don't forget, this is the Big Twist Yarn Supernova line, and this is the colorway Whirlpool Galaxy. So last time you saw this, I did not have it put together. It was two separate pieces, and you're making these hexagons that go out and they fold over to make the sleeve and the body. I have since, the last time you saw it, added the additional rows. So here's where the end of my square was, and I added on these rows, and I added on these rows, and I seamed it together. I have sewn up the arms here on both sides with a whip stitch. It's just a whip stitch. I don't have any of the ends woven in. I have also done more length, so you can see here I added this many rows to the bottom of it. And when I did that, the last row I decided to do a half double crochet all the way across just to give it a nice clean edge. And I like that. Of course, I mean, I gotta sew all these in, so you gotta ignore all the ends. And right now, I am working on the collar. So I am just doing a few rows of the collar. You can see from here, this is where I added on this stuff here, these rows. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows for the collar. And what I think I need to do, I gotta try it on, but what I think I want to do is maybe well, I have to try it on, honestly. But if it's not wide enough here to cover the front of like my chest and around my waist, I'm gonna keep going with the granny squares here, the clusters. But when I get up to a point around here, I'm just going to do single crochets around so I don't keep building this collar up too far. Because I just don't want it to be too wide. I don't want it to fold over either. So at this point, I need to try it on. So Luna, of course, wants to say hello. Hello, Luna. And yeah. Oh, I didn't really say I'm from Baltimore. I have kids. I have a family. This is a vlog style knitting / crafting podcast. Hello. Hello. It is Tuesday, November 19th, and I promised that I would show you guys what I cranked on my machine because I had used yarn that I purchased at the Maryland Alpaca and Fleece Festival, and that was yarn from Yarn Hero, and it was just mill ends that I had purchased. So I previously had also talked about having a bunch of Patton's Croy in the muslin color. So I had a bunch of this, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, and then when I saw the yarn from Yarn Hero, I knew what I was going to do. I was going to, oh my gosh, excuse me, make John some bobos. He calls them bobos. I don't know what you call them, but they're like the tall socks with the stripes, like you would see sports players wear, and here we go. So they're going to flop over because they're too long for these blockers because I make John's socks really, really tall because that's what he likes. So here are bobos that I cranked using the Yarn Hero yarn here and the muslin in the Patton's Croy for the rest of the sock. So here they are. That's crazy. Snapshot, maybe. So I felt really bad because his birthday and the thing I ordered was coming from overseas and it just actually got here today. So I felt bad, so I hurried up and cranked him 2 pairs of socks, knowing I wanted to make these. And they're so fun. So I need to take pictures of those and post them on Instagram and on Ravelry. And the other pair that I cranked is a yarn from Hurst Cat, and it is called Trout Mouth Is that what it's... Dang it, I just looked at it. Here it is on the cone. This is how much I had left. Here's Hursty Cat. Trout Heart. Trout Heart. I don't know why. Having trouble remembering. And this, I can't make as tall of a pair of socks for John because I need 2 skeins, technically, really, to make socks that he likes that tall. And hand-dyed yarn with 2 skeins is a lot of yarn. But here is the other pair. I just did hung hems at the top. These I didn't do any color changing or anything. The whole sock is just the color of the yarn. It's really pretty. So now he has 2 new pairs of socks. So I need to take pictures of both of these actually and get them posted and whatnot. So I've been working on my crochet Hexi cardigan. I'm almost done, so I will show you guys what I have chosen to do. We last were talking about the collar, so I will show that probably in the next clip. I'm gonna hopefully get all the crocheting done tonight and be done with it, and I'm not sure I'm gonna block it or not. Honestly, it is the 80-20, 80% acrylic, 20% wool, so I'm not quite sure. The other one, my other Simple Hug, blocked out a little bit. I just don't know how much I really want it to block out. I'm actually really happy with how it looks. So, of course, we have a visitor. Oh, and I'm wearing my Polina sweater, which I just recently finished. I love this sweater. I wore it to work today. It's so cozy. It's so wonderful. And yeah. All right, I'm gonna go and I will catch you guys in the next clip. Bye. Hey guys, I'm not sure what day this was. I believe it was in the morning, getting ready before work, and I took a little bit of time to work on my super secret project for a Christmas present. So I'm going to just do a voiceover here instead of adding music. I am trying to show you guys that I am doing Portuguese knitting or purling. This project is using US size 15 needles, and it's really difficult. You can also see on my left index finger, I am using a leather thimble. So Portuguese purling, you can do different ways. They have a purling pin that you can actually purchase. And what you do is you attach that to your shirt, to your front of your shirt, and the yarn goes through the pin, and it puts tension on your working yarn, and then you can flick the yarn with your thumb. You can see I'm flicking it. I'm a left-handed knitter, so I'm flicking it with my right thumb. I don't have a pin, or I don't have a Portuguese pin, and other people have just used maybe a safety pin, but I wrap it around my neck, which is the other method that they talk about when you look this up. And it gives tension on the yarn for you to be able to just swipe that with your thumb right as like almost throwing it. If you were, I'm a thrower, so it's almost like as if you were throwing the yarn, but you're just manipulating it with your thumb. So I was trying to show this. It's not the greatest video, but I like using this method when using a chunky yarn and big needles, only because it is less pressure throwing the yarn. So there we go. Okay, I'm back again with another voiceover. I need to prep some yarn for the holiday knitting, and this is the yarn from Frogget that I purchased for my friend, and it is the Clan Fraser colorway, and I just want to get this into a cake so I can make a hat for my friend. So I'm going to do a voiceover here, and I'm just going to talk fairly quickly about it's coming up on a year anniversary of my dad passing. Don't mean to get all like phlegmy and whatnot, but I'm going to try to make it through this. I just thought, I've had a few friends over the past year just ask questions, tell me a story about your dad, what was like his favorite this or favorite that, and so I just thought maybe I would share a little with you all just memories, and it just keeps that person alive in our thoughts and in our minds, and we can pass the stories on down to future generations. So, sorry. I'm not quite sure which story I was going to tell. It's really difficult. And so I just thought I would tell you guys about one of his favorite foods, and that would be egg bread. Okay, I know, that's a very strange food name. Otherwise known as French toast. Most people would know French toast over egg bread, but my dad always called it egg bread. And technically, if you think about how you make French toast, it's egg and it's bread. You might add a little vanilla in or whatever to spruce it up, but that was always one of his favorites. So when I moved back home after college, my dad didn't really cook. My parents were divorced, and so I would do the majority of the cooking to feed him and my uncle, who I lived with. They lived together, and I lived with them. And so egg bread was always pretty high on the priority list. My dad really enjoyed breakfast foods. He also enjoyed like just a good fried egg on a sandwich, and so there's lots of times when my dad would come over to take Hazel to school in the morning, because he was my tribe to get her to school, and I'd be cooking breakfast, or I had finished breakfast and I may have thrown an extra fried egg in the microwave and made him a sandwich when he got here. So yeah. Other favorite foods, my dad growing up always told me that meals were Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They were all the same. So if it was meatloaf Mondays, it was, Tuesdays was something else. So I think that was that generation's way of preparing food, because they always knew it was things that they could get. So, all right, here it is, all caked up, ready to go. Sorry I'm backlit, but that's it. It is now Saturday. I'm not sure of the date, November, 22nd, 3rd, something like that. I apologize, but I want to round this video up and get it all put together for you and have it posted. I've been gathering supplies because I need to get some stuff ready with having holidays coming. I want to make sure I have projects ready to knit on, because I finished like some big projects and maybe I'll do a video at the end. I did finish my HexiaGranny. I'll show it in another video because I feel bad that I didn't do a full show of it being done. We'll talk about that in the next one. But I want to have bags of projects ready to go. What I'm pretty much prepping is just a couple yarn balls with stuff to make hats. So I already caked up one, which you saw earlier, and I'm going to cake up I think 2 more and have size 4s, 5s, and 6s in US sizes ready and on the go, because I'm not sure which hat I'm going to be making with all of them. I know the one that I wound already. I know what pattern I'm going to use. I'll show you guys that in another episode also. But the other 2 tweed yarns for John, I'm not sure what pattern, and so I know I use those sizes for some of the hats that he has previously liked. I was watching Michael from Piece for Piece Crafting. I know I've talked about him before, but he makes a lot of things that are, for men and women. I mean, he makes for his friends too. And then he makes a lot of socks, which are, gender, doesn't matter the gender, right? So, he showed the Teenie Weenie Beanie, and the pattern name and the designer will be down below because I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. But I'm asking him suggestions all the time for hats, because him and John all like wearing the same type of hat with the rolled brim. It's very, the same kind of hat. So the Teenie Weenie Beanie. If you haven't seen the clip with Paul Rudd and Jimmy Fallon, I'll try to remember to link it down below so you can watch the video. It's just hilarious. So this pattern calls for a DK weight, and I wasn't sure if John was going to like it, so I was really nervous about cracking open a whole new skein of DK weight and or fingering and holding it double. So I was really nervous. It calls for a US 6 throughout the whole hat, and it does call for a folded brim that you tack down. I didn't do the provisional cast on that it calls for. I just cast on, and then I picked up my first row of cast on stitches when I joined them together. So it does do a third fold, so technically there are 3 layers in the hat, and it has this really nice, the crown of it looks really nice because it's garter stitch, and it has this detail where the decreases are. So I did make a mistake though, I believe. So here's the hat. Okay, so I'm just going to show you. Here's the hat. And this is folded already. So this is double thickness here. Okay. And I believe this section it was supposed to all be purl. I think I turned my work inside out too soon. And it's okay because it still works. And the reason it has a stripe here is because I knew the yarn was going to be hidden with the fold. I was nervous about not having enough of this yarn. This is 7th Floor Fibers. It's one of their tweed bases. This is actually theirs also. But guess what I found? I found a whole nother little nugget of it. So I would have had enough, but it's fine. This was kind of just a test prototype to see. And there's the detailing I'm talking about. So this will fold up. I'm going to put it on for you to show you. John actually said he liked it though. So I might have to bust open a DK weight or another fingering weight yarn and make another one for him. I want to make sure he really does like it though. I've now woven the ends. I want him to wear it. Maybe I'll get him to wear it today. So you put it on. So I knew this fold was going to hide this for the most part. I have a cat and I don't wear hats like this. My hair, it doesn't grip, so it just wants to slide upwards. So of course he can wear it with the detailing going to the front, or he can wear it so it's like this. I mean, however he feels comfortable. But I want to make sure he likes it. Now, if you don't fold it enough, you're going to see it. So, again, this was kind of just a prototype. My cat is looking at me so funnily. And so, there's the hat. Here's the cat. Here's the hat. Here's the cat. She perpetually wants to be in my lap 24/7. I mean, that's just really what this all comes down to. So he said he likes it, and he said it gripped his head really well. So, I don't know. We'll see how often he picks this one up. And if he does and he likes it, I'll make him another in a color that he, can pick. So, that's the Teenie Weenie Beanie, and of course I had to make it because he sings the song, all the time. So, alright, I finished the book, the Brom book, Slewfoot. In the end, I still only ended up giving it 3 stars. Maybe it would have been a 3.5. You can't do half stars on both of the apps that I use for rating them, because you rate them in the app you read and then on Goodreads. I didn't love it. So I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. So again, it was interesting take on the devil and the 1600, 1700 Puritan, witches, etc. It was an interesting take on that. So if you're interested in that time period or witch trials and things like that, it was an okay read. So I don't know what's next on my horizon for reading. I'm just kind of slogging through stuff until I find something that really that I really like. Oh, I did read one more book. I'm sorry. The Librarian on Crooked Lane, or The Library on Crooked Lane. It's a series, and that also I gave 3 stars. It is the first book. It caught my attention enough, but I'm not sure I'm going to read anymore. I'm going to maybe pick something else, and then maybe I'll go back to it. We'll see how that goes. So, yeah. Other than me saying my normal spiel of check in on each other and the holidays are hard, people have said it way more eloquent than I have. Just be aware of that. And, everybody's always going through something, and you don't know what's always going on in people's lives. So, you just have to be patient with people, and I feel like a lot of people have lost that in our society. Not everybody. I'm not saying the majority of us, but there's a lot, yeah, we're just not going to go there. All right, until the next episode, I won't see you guys in a posted video before American Thanksgiving, so if you do celebrate, happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace, love. I always forget it. I have to think about it. That's the pause. Peace, love, and happy crafting, y'all. Bye.